Chiefs and this defense, is it going from second or third to seventh or eighth? I think that's in play for them, and that's still a top 10 defense with an offense that we all think is going back to the top 10.
So I asked the question because we asked about offense, and we all universally agree that we think the Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to be better than they were last year. Of course they are. They were middle of the road last year in points per game, and I have eyeballs over the last 4 years, so I am aware that the Chiefs offense is going to be better than that. It's 100% lock it in. The Chiefs offense is going to be better. There's almost no doubt about it. I think it's a little more difficult on the defense because even though it's the same defensive line, which we've talked about, they are clearly less comfortable with it. The signings they're making, the way they're talking internally, they do not think their defensive line is good. We know their corners aren't as good. You think it was an accident? They went out and put waiver claims on 2 different corners yesterday, one of which ended up on their roster. They obviously don't like that unit as much as they did last year with L'Jarius Sneed, and no reason not to. But Trent McDuffie was the best slot corner statistically in football last season, and now he's going to have to play on the outside. So what do they do with the slot and at the number 2 spot? It's a question they're going to have to answer themselves a lot. I think they're regressing. I don't think the defense will be as good. It's the one part of the field where I'm going to tell you, I don't think they're going to be nearly as good. And the only thing that I think can save them is turnovers. The only thing that can keep the defense as a top 5 defense this year is turnovers. Because from a takeaway perspective, they were not good last year, as you well know. The Ravens were the best team in football at that. The Chiefs were the 5th worst. They only had 17 takeaways last year. So the only way to make up the positive regression we talk about is to take the ball away. So unless I'm confident they're going to do that, no questions asked, I think they're probably like the 9th or 10th best defense. I don't think they're trash. Like, I'm not crazy. I just think whatever they fall defensively, they'll probably make up for offensively. The question is, can they win that way again? Because it's been a few years.
Yeah, look, the number 2 cornerback is the question. And it was a question in camp that didn't get answered because, as we know, the coaching staff wanted someone to emerge. It didn't happen. And you're right. They made a couple claims yesterday. They clearly weren't happy with the depth. Now, I don't know. Both guys they claim, they got one of them. I don't know if they view that player as someone that's going to be a number 2, or they just, as they did all week, they really added depth to the back end of the roster. You know, the guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, they added him, more of a back end of the roster depth piece. The signing of Samaje Perine, more of a back end of the roster depth piece that's going to help this team.
Sure.
So I think that's probably what the corner claims were. I don't think they think one of those guys is jumping in and being corner 2 right away, but they obviously felt one of those guys was a better option than Kelvin Joseph, who they cut or whatever. You know, I think it's more of that.
They're not going to trade out Joshua Williams and those guys.
Joshua Williams will be the team's number 2 corner right away, but that is going to be an area teams are going to test, and they're going to have to prove that they can hold up there. It will be vulnerable, especially early on in the season, and maybe there's a surprise there. But what's the worst they fall back to? Like, if we're even just talking about
10th.
Okay.
11th, something like that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I would be stunned if they fell past 12. I mean, that would be that would mean to me that there was an injury on the defensive line and they weren't getting near the production on the defensive line. Because we all know, how do you make your cornerbacks look better? It works both ways on this one, but you get pressure on the quarterback, suddenly you think your corners are doing an even better job or whatever.
The problem is you go back to where the defense was a few years ago, Gold, where I think they're going to have to rely once again on Chris Jones to probably play on the outside more than they want. Okay? I think, don't you? Like, I think Chris Jones is going to have to pay more on the outside than they had to do last year. Remember what was it, 2, 3? How long ago? How long ago was that when they did the whole Chris Jones full-time defensive end thing, and that just didn't work?
Like 2-3 years ago?
2-3 years ago? Like, I don't think it's going to go to that, but I do think they're going to have to use him out there more because their depth is at the defensive tackle position. So on 3rd down, can Chris Jones do it from the new part of the field versus where he was previously? That I don't know. That will probably make a decision on whether or not you like him. But yeah, 10th, 11th, 12th.
Yeah.
The question is, what do you think the basement is of the offense this year?
Yeah. I mean,
because could they be 10th in both? That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned they were 14th. Someone said the Chiefs' offense was 9th. I guess it depends on what metric. We're going by points per game. They were the
points per game.
That's what, I guess we could dive deeper. I mean, if you're telling me yardage, that doesn't count. Points per game, they were 14th.
Like, I don't care.
14th in points per game last year were the Chiefs offensively. So, yeah, they're going to be a top 10 offense again. And I think they have a chance to trend towards top 5, top 6.
You ever look back at that? You realize how wild it is? Like, we watched that offense last year. I'm like, I hate it. I was like, it's not even fun to watch anymore. They're just like throwing it 2 yards, and half that time it's going off of Justin Watson's hands or Kadarius Toney's into another team's hands. I'm like, This is an annoying offense, and I am not enjoying it. It is not fun to watch. You're here to tell me that there were 18 teams worse at offense than that one? 18? What the hell were you all doing? I didn't even enjoy watching the Chiefs offense. What the hell was the rest of them
They were
doing?
starting Tommy Cutlets. They were, that's what was going on. There were teams starting Zach Wilson still last year in games. Russell Wilson was starting games. He's also going to start week 1 for the Steelers. That was announced yesterday. That's how.
That was a good. You guys, I love that decision for the Steelers. I really hope.
I mean, I don't care.
He stinks, man. He stinks. Well, why are they talking themselves into Russell Wilson?
No, Justin Fields will be starting at some point this year.
I'm pretty sure.
And that's not any better either. Neither one of those quarterbacks will be starting for them a year from now. So it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
No. I mean, no. That's what really, yeah. But they should just tank then. They should just start Tommy Cutlets, win one game, and get an actual quarterback in there.
Tomlin won't do that. But I agree with you. As great as Tomlin is, in a weird way, they've been in this middle road of just, being an 8-9 win team, and it's a terrible spot to be in.
From a
NFL.
quarterback perspective, it leaves you drafting with Kenny Pickett's. Or Kenny Pickett. I couldn't get his name right. I added an S for no reason.
It's like Chase Daniels.
Yeah, it's that's not the guy you want. It's not. None of the people who are currently on your roster should be starting quarterback for you 12 months from now. Well, then just lose and get a different. Or you should have spent the money on Kirk Cousins and gotten a real quarterback in your franchise and finally got some winning. They could have just still taken Michael Penix Jr. and had a different quarterback starting for them. Everybody still wins in that scenario, right? So it's a little bit different. Yeah, just annoying. Just annoying. Someone says, God, no, please do not put Jones on the outside. Occasionally it works. He does that anyway. It was when they tried to make him a full-time defensive end that it was a problem. And by the way, it wasn't even a problem like he wasn't effective at all. The problem was they were a sieve in the middle of the defensive line when Chris Jones wasn't there. They were exposed where he wasn't, I thought was the bigger issue.
Cody and Gold here on 96.5 The Fan. I'm noticing on the text line, 913-586-7965, people are just texting Drew names of teams they want opinions on. So, yeah, we're not going to go through everybody. Drew will respond. If you just text in a college football team you want his opinion on, just text in. Drew will personally respond to every text. Any team in the country you want an opinion on, Drew's got his college football guide. Is it coming out? Is it out yet?
It comes out later today.
Perfect. So you've got everything on every team. You just text in a team, and Drew will respond back to you.
Rob is already pulling a text line and said, you have Iowa State.
I mean, I do think it's crazy. I don't think Iowa State's making it to the Big 12
Oklahoma State are going to disappoint. I think Utah's fine.
Oklahoma State will disappoint as well.
I think Utah's fine, but they're going to have a little bit of a wake-up call. Okay. I know the Pac-12 was solid, but I don't think I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think the Big 12 is where, and this has been the conversation throughout, there's been so much chaos that can happen. The chaos is going to happen in the Big 12, and Iowa State will be in the Big 12 title game.
All right, so you can talk to Drew about any team you want on the text line. Up next, though, let's get right back to the Royals. And how are they stacking up right now with the other teams in the American League? Plus, we do have some business to attend to.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, it's Trey Smith, and in order for our team to get a victory, we need honesty, teamwork, work ethic, humility, and the golden rule. That's why my truck is from the dealer that embodies all those values, Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram also supports Giving Hope, whose sole purpose is to feed and clothe the needy in Wyandotte County and beyond. Giving back in the highest integrity, that's how Jeff and his team do business. For your next vehicle, visit or go to victorychrysler-dodge-jeepram.com.
I'm convinced I have the best Labor Day setup. A cold drink in one hand and my phone in the other while I shop Kohl's Labor Day sale. They have seriously great deals to refresh your home. $10 off if you spend $25 or more. $5 Kohl's cash for every $25 spent. And up to 85% off into summer clearance faves. Yep, I can always count on Kohl's to keep it real with the best savings. And now it's time for a refill. Select styles. Offers end September 2nd. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
If you're hearing this, you're in Chiefs Kingdom, the land of champions. And what do champions do? They win. Play the world champions Kansas City Chiefs instant ticket from the Kansas Lottery for a chance to win up to $75,000. or enter your tickets into the Play On app for a chance to win one-of-a-kind Chiefs experiences. Because the only thing better than winning is winning again. See kslottery.com for details.
When you're relaxing with family and friends this Labor Day, bring out the grill and bring out the Gates barbecue sauce. There's nothing like Gates on all your grill favorites. Gates comes in original classic, sweet and mild, and extra hot. There's a flavor to suit your taste. Gates sauces are made with quality ingredients and are gluten-free. Pick up a bottle of Gates today at your local grocer. And while you're there, pick up Gates salad seasoning, a seasoning that will bring your salads and vegetables to life. Buy Gates, and if you don't see it, ask for it.
When you ask people here what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler, for some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
Prairie Band Sportsbook invites you to play in the free $25,000 Pro Football Survivor game. Register at prairieband.chalklinegames.com/game/survivor before kickoff September 5th. Pick a different pro football team to win weekly. Outlast the field and score $5,000. Pick a different winner 20 straight weeks and win the grand prize of $25,000. Register at prairieband.chalklinegames.com/game/survivor for your chance to win. Bet your way with Prairie Band Sportsbook.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
Jane, I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
Or being a dog person and a cat person.
Who wants a treat? Who's a good boy?
Or like being an extrovert and an introvert.
Woo! This is so fun! I can't wait to go home.
At T-Mobile, you don't have to choose. You can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how much you can save with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, when you switch, you can keep your phone and we'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device, credit, service, and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc. Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
Who doesn't love getting something for free? Labor Day deals have arrived at the Home Depot, and right now you can get a free Milwaukee 18-volt extended capacity battery, $159 value, when you buy a select tool. Get longer runtime and more battery life so you can power all your fall projects. Shop Labor Day deals and get a free battery when you buy a select tool at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Limit 1 per transaction. Exclusions apply. Full eligible tool list in store and online.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for K-State Athletics. KFNC FM and AM HD Kansas City, WTAF HD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Sports Station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you on 96.5 The Fan. We'll get to the trash of the day in about 20 minutes.
Little news out of the NFL, but we saw this yesterday, and you and I have been saying this for a month. There is a current NFL call with the league office going on. All the national NFL reporters are saying what we knew. Quote, we do not anticipate he'll be placed on the commissioner's exempt rule, that referring to Rashee Rice, unless there is a material change in the case. So the NFL admitting what we all knew, which is Rashee Rice will play week 1 of the NFL season, and honestly, he'll play the entire 2024 season, not under suspension, and that when the legal case is solved, then they'll do something about it. He just got a trial date for his civil case in the matter. There is not currently a trial date for the criminal case at all, but right now, the NFL's telling you what we all knew, which is we're not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I think people nationally and outside of Kansas City are going to be more like stunned because I think most thought the suspension was happening. If you've been paying attention in KC, certainly if you've been listening to this station, most of us, if not every show, every on-air personality has been saying since early training camp, maybe before training camp, that it was looking like he was not going to get suspended. And that reasoning they gave is exactly that the guys that got suspended last Friday in the NFL, their legal situations have been resolved.
Correct.
Rashee Rice's is still up in the air. We don't know how it's going to end up, but it's not finalized yet. And maybe that means he's suspended next year, but also that means his criminal stuff is going to have to be wrapped up by the start of next season. But it's not something I'm worried about also happening mid-season. Like I don't think the NFL would suspend in season because, as you said, there's not a criminal case, court date set at this point in time, and I don't think it's going to happen until after the season. And his attorney will likely continue to try to push that back, even when a date perhaps is discussed, until after the season.
He should try to get it moved up to the fastest possible time in the offseason imaginable.
Yeah, like
get
February 25th.
March 1st. Yep. Try to get your lawyer in court with you March 1st is what you'd aim for. The thing is with him now, even if they set a trial for January 1st, the NFL wouldn't suspend him the rest of the year. Like he's good. He's good to play for the rest of the year. This is actually, the timing of this is real, like surprisingly good for this reason. It gives them a full year to get Xavier Worthy up to speed to handle the duties while he's gone next season. Because we still firmly believe Rashee Rice is getting suspended at some point, right? He's not going to avoid suspension. He's just not getting suspended this year. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's, someone was upset on the text line earlier that, he's getting away with nothing. No, there are still legal consequences he's going to deal with for a long time in some form or fashion, whether it's financial, whether it's more than that. There's also eventually, I agree with you, going to be some sort of NFL suspension, but not this year and definitely not to start the season. That is from the NFL PR staff now on the conference call that you're referencing. And, for the narrative out there nationally, I'm sure it'll be annoying, right, to those of us in Kansas City. It'll be like, oh, the NFL wants to make sure the Chiefs three-peat. There'll be a bunch of that annoying crap. Just ignore it. Yeah. It's stupid. This is not the first time a player that we all know eventually will probably get suspended has not been suspended to start a season. This is usually how the NFL goes now. Yeah, they wait for the legal process to wrap up. That's typically how this works, and it has not wrapped up, so no suspension right now.
Do we have any lawyers on the text line? 913-586.
Every single person.
7965. I want to know something. If it was me, if I was driving 130 miles an hour and I got into an accident and I hurt some people, would I get to wait a year before I had to go to court? Would I get to wait a full calendar year, which is what it's looking for, before I had to go to court? Is that a normal amount of time to wait? Because, based on the law shows I watch, if I'm watching Law & Order, they got them in court 6 weeks later. How quick does it really go down in the actual legal system is what I want to know. Or does he just have a really good lawyer who's great at filing motions for continuances?
Also, it's in Dallas, right? And who knows how, each jurisdiction, how much more is on the docket already or whatever, right? So
yeah, probably. I'm just asking. I want to know. The text line's going to, I'm sure, not help at all. Because someone is from the 816 said, best effing attorney in the West. I mean, I'm sure he's got a very good attorney. It's the same as Jerry Jones's attorney, so he's probably...
His attorney, I think his last name is West, actually.
Pretty good.
Right? And I think that's
what is he, like Joe West? Like the umpire?
I could be wrong. I thought that was the
honestly.
case.
I'm not sure. But I guess kudos to him. Someone says, I think his attorney will try to kick it down 2 more years. That way, he'll have a new contract negotiated so he can pay his legal bills.
I got a text from our official on-retainer lawyer, our good friend, Chris. He says...
Oh, he is a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. He says, yes, normal, especially Jackson County. They drag stuff out all the time.
Okay. So good to know. I was just asking. I didn't know what the setup was.
There you go. By the way, the attorney in Dallas, his name, Royce West. So I thought so. I thought West was involved.
Okay. I was just
That's the update on the Rashee Rice situation, though.
Correct.
For those that were wondering. All right, well, I'm sure get back to that a little bit later on today. But let's talk about the Royals in a different way than we have here recently. Looking outside the AL Central a bit, the rest of the American League, we know where the standings are at. Everybody's checking them every day. Yes, in the division, the Royals are a game back. We know they also have a little bit of a cushion now in the wild card. They occupy the second wild card spot thanks to the Twins also losing. The Royals have a 2.5-game lead there. They're, 2 back of the Baltimore Orioles for the top wild card spot. The best record in the American League is 78-56, occupied by the New York Yankees. But where do the Royals fit in all of that? I mean, the Astros are coming on strong, but they got off to such a bad start that the Astros are, 71-62. So right now they're as dangerous as anybody, but their record is not going to represent that. So how do the Royals fit into that? Who are they definitively out of what looks like the playoff teams now? Yankees, Guardians, Astros, Orioles, Royals, Twins. Who are they better than?
Not unless you're a Tigers guy. They've won 6 games in a row.
They're hot. They're only 4.5 out of a wild card now.
I know.
That's a heck of a turnaround all of a sudden for A.J. Hinch and the Tigers. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I think the Twins should be a little worried about the Tigers potentially causing some problems.
Especially because the Tigers still do play the Twins and do still play the Royals. So sure, the Twins can worry about that. There's 6.5 games up on the Tigers at least, so they don't have to worry about it yet. I think there are 2 teams I would rank ahead of them, and I would have them third in the American League. The Yankees and the Orioles, I think, have proven enough over the course of this season and based on matchup stuff that they deserve their spot above the Royals in the pecking order. But if you made me rank out every other team in the American League after seeing the Guardians and understanding how their flaws match up versus the Royals' flaws, I think they're the third best team in the American League. I think they're better than the Guardians. I already told you last week, I think they're better than the Twins. The Astros scare me, maybe the third most out of those teams. I don't want to face them. But I still think the Royals are a better team than them. The rest of them don't deserve to be in the conversation. I think they're the third best team in the AL.
I think that's almost like a sure thing. The question is, do you think they're above the Orioles or Yankees? Like, I think for sure they're